is the Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer and Ron Miller.
Welcome, race fans, to the Hammer Down Racing Report, part of the Evergreen Podcast Network. This is show number 372 for Thursday, March 27th. Last one for March.
Ooh.
Scott Hammer, Ron Miller, and Jimmy McCune joining us in the studio here tonight. One of our guests here at the Dominator Race Product Studio. Tonight on the show, we're going to be talking fire safety.
Yay.
Jimmy seems to be kind of an expert. I was thinking Joe Nicolay was he's got some fire experience, but definitely check out our show with him. And Kevin Thomas Jr., Kevin Thomas Sr. are both going to be joining us. Kevin Thomas Jr., a USAC national sprint racer. He's got some pretty good success. And those guys together have a business called Inferno. Inferno Armor. Yes, yeah, and you're a dealer of it.
Yes.
Which I didn't know when we were putting this together. So, and he's got some.
I love it when a plan comes together, Scott.
I met him at PRI, and he was showing us that spray and how it worked, and I was like,
"It's amazing.
That's pretty crazy." Yeah. So we're going to talk to them in a little bit, and talk basic overall fire safety and everything. That'll be the theme of tonight's show. We've got Oakshade Trivia coming up here in just a minute. We're going to spin the wheel of all of our correct answers for our 50th anniversary Oakshade Raceway Trivia question and a chance to win a pair of these passes good for any single night this season. Also, on the way, we're going to give away a Hammer Down Racing Report window sticker courtesy of DCR Graphics. That'll be for tonight's How Many. So stick around for that. If you got one of those, slap it on your car, your go-kart, whatever. You can be part of the Hammer Down Army. I don't know. Did you see the video I shared of Bolton Colton? He's our first enlistment of the year.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And our youngest, too, probably. On his cart once again. So, and he's got that cool Mohawk helmet he wears.
Well, and I've been watching some videos from Colton Cook, who's also getting going. So,
well, he needs a Hammer Down Racing Report sticker then, too.
Absolutely.
Which you can get if you don't win one tonight. Just get a hold of Dale Cole Jr. at DCR Graphics. Just $5 to get one of those. Before we get things going, how about we do that spin for the passes for Oakshade Raceway for our trivia question. You remember the trivia question, Ron?
I know it had to do with Oakshade.
Good.
Do I get an A+ for that?
Yeah. So the question was, who was the first to win both the Bomber / Super Stock Spectacular, because the division changed.
Yeah, it changed.
The Spectacular and the Track Championship in the same year? And I told you that the answer wasn't on the website, but it was sort of.
Sort of?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the website was missing the Spectacular winners for 2001 and 2002.
Really?
And spoiler alert, 2001 was the one that won the Spectacular and the championship the same year. And I went through the photos, and there's actually a photo from 2001.
Really?
Of Bryce Luttrell.
Oh.
He was the first one to win both the championship and the Spectacular in the same year.
What a surprise there.
And what else is also surprising? One of the entries here that got the answer right was Mason Luttrell.
Oh.
So he's...
That's cheating.
Is it, though?
No, not at all.
So we're going to spin the wheel here. His name's on there, along with a few others. There was a lot of Greg Dietrich guesses. There was a lot of good guesses. So this one, kind of, I don't think everybody knew it. So I liked it. So here we go for a pair of passes to Oakshade Raceway. And it looks like it's going to go to Mr. Jamie Fowler.
Jamie Fowler, yeah.
Congratulations, Mr. Oh, wait. Congratulations. If you call us, or not call us, put a message in the comments of our Facebook Live here.
Saying,
I got to bring that up. I win.
I win.
Just,
it has to say I win.
You have 5 minutes. You're on the clock at 7:05 now, so you have until 7:10.
And if it doesn't say I win, you lose.
We spin the wheel again, yes. So if you know Jamie and he's not watching, you might want to get a hold of him, and maybe he'll share his ticket with you. I don't know. So there you go. We'll keep an eye on the clock there.
I've got it.
In the comments, too. This has not been confirmed, but Bryce claimed that he was also the year that they skipped the championship night and went to the World 100 and still won the points. Well, thank you for that little bloop, Mr. Mason Luttrell. Freeze Frame Photo is your go-to for all your racing photo needs, whether it's heart-pounding action shots or those unforgettable victory lane moments. Freeze Frame Photos has you covered, but that's not all. They offer a fantastic range of custom gifts to commemorate your favorite races, including print magnets, canned koozies, tumblers, wood plaques, custom slate photos, wind spinners, buttons, and that's just to name a few. If you want to add a personal touch, that's not a problem. Freeze Frame Photos can customize any photo or gift item with your own text and graphics, making each piece uniquely yours. Call Charlie today at 419-407-6994 and let Freeze Frame Photos turn your favorite memories into timeless treasures. Freeze Frame Photos, special moments frozen in time. And Victory Fuel, the ultimate flavored electrolyte water to power your day. Packed with a full load of electrolytes, 120% of your daily vitamins, and absolutely no artificial coloring, caffeine, or carbonation. Just pure, refreshing performance when it matters most. Ready to stock up? Contact your local sales representative, Tanya Conley, for track concessions and business wholesale inquiries at Tanya. That's Tanya at drinkvictory.com, or you can order online now at drinkvictory.com. Just drinkvictory.com. Not yet. Yeah. Don't forget to use discount code Conley Racing at the checkout for exclusive savings. Victory Fuel, because champions deserve the best. You watching the comments?
I am.
Okay.
Jamie Fowler has 3 minutes.
3 minutes. The clock is coming.
If you know Jamie, give him a call. Otherwise, he loses.
He loses. Coming up here in just a few minutes, again, we'll be speaking with Kevin Thomas Jr. and Sr. They'll be joining us as we talk fire safety when it comes to racing. Before we get to that, though, I also got to mention our other sponsors, Oakshade Raceway, Dominator Race Products, Ron Miller Race Cars, Magic Moment Entertainment, Dipman Motorsports, and DCR Graphics. And maybe Bulldog someday will be a sponsor, you know? It should be.
You know.
Just saying. A little bit of racing action last weekend to get to, so let's do that. Use my handy-dandy little cheat sheet here.
Racing Roundup.
Can't see the scroll.
You can't. Oh, you mean the chat? You still watching for Jamie?
Yes, I am.
Sorry, I had to push a button there.
Yeah, I know.
No Jamie there yet. No Jamie yet. He's got 2 minutes. Attica Raceway Park last week canceled due to weather. Tomorrow night, not canceled yet, and they do have Saturday as a rain date. Producer Dave told us just before we started they're going to make a decision at noon tomorrow about if they're going to run Friday night as planned or push it back to Saturday. So keep an eye on social media tomorrow if you're planning on going to Attica.
I hope
right
they
around
get
lunchtime.
it in tomorrow.
It sounds like, the Mud Hens opener, they're talking about that tomorrow, and the weather seems to be okay for that. But I'm guessing if it rains, though, that's easier to dry out than a dirt track.
Yeah, because they've got tarps to go over it.
Why don't we have tarps?
Why don't we have a roof?
Murray Bridge Speedway down under the Cowlin 42 Friday. Darren Kane picking up the win in the Super Sedans. Nigel Reichstein in the Street Stocks. Demi Jennings in Junior Sedans. Lachlan Brown, Demi Jennings in the Junior Sedans New Stars. Lachlan Brown in the Junior Sedans Top Stars. Two different things. Don't get confused there. Then Saturday night, Todd Atkins picking up the win there at Murray Bridge in the Super Sedans. Renee Filer in the V6 Sprints. And Drew Fatman.
Okay.
Fatman picking up the win in the Street Stocks. Albany Speedway. South Coast Classic as the season winds down under there as we switch back to the mainland here. South Coast Classic Modified Sedan Saturday. Sam Jewell picking up the win in the Formula 500s. Riley Udex in the Junior Top Stars. Casey Ether picking up the win in the Junior New Stars. Todd Pages, your Junior Formula 500 winner. Lincoln Coleman winning in the Street Stocks. Graham McSweeney in Production Sedans. Clinton Oaks in the Modifieds. Cody Turricchio in the Senior Formula 500s. You know the names in the Australian racers, they used to be a lot simpler.
Jamie loses.
He's out of time?
Out of time.
All right, we'll spin the wheel here in just a second again. Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series action. The Buckeye Springfield, they got both races in last weekend, despite the cold weather around here. Atomic Speedway Friday night, Ricky Thornton Jr. picking up the win. Then they went over to the Indiana Icebreaker in Brownstown Speedway, and Devin Moran taking the win there. World of Outlaw late model series action. The Battle at the Crossroads at Swainsboro Raceway. Bobby Pierce taking Friday night's win. Saturday it was Ryan Gustin. World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series action at Federated Auto Parts Texas Two-Step at the Cotton Bowl Speedway. Friday night and Saturday night, swept by Mr. David Gravel. Again, he's on
What a
tear.
surprise.
NTT IndyCar action. The Thermal Club IndyCar Grand Prix at Thermal Club was won by Alex Palou. That's his second in a row. And I guess middle part of that race was they had some technical problems, and Fox switched over the NASCAR race to it.
Really?
Yeah. And I guess with the NASCAR race going head-to-head with
Right.
The IndyCar race, both of them start at the same time. The IndyCar rating or audience was basically half of what it was of their opener.
Ooh.
When they weren't head-to-head. So I didn't know there was that much crossover between NASCAR and IndyCar audience, but maybe there is. Speaking of NASCAR, Truck Series action, the Baptist Health 200 at Homestead Miami Speedway on Friday. Kyle Larson picking up the win there. Couldn't get it done, though, Saturday. In
Should
the
have.
Hard Rock Bet 300 at Homestead Miami Speedway. I didn't get to see that. I read something restart at the end. Justin Allgaier picking up the win there.
Yeah, caution with 6 to go, I think. They went back in overtime, and coming down on the restart, whoever it was that was behind Kyle Larson kind of got into his rear bumper, jacked him up, rear tires came off the ground. He wound up back to 5th. I think he wound up, overall, I think he wound up 4th, but he was less than happy.
Well, he made up for it on Saturday, picking up his second win of the weekend in the Cup Series.
That probably
Straight Talk
paid
400,
too.
Probably a little bit. Kyle Larson, your winner there on Sunday. Racers, get ready. Dippin Motorsports is your complete race shop in Northwest Ohio. They have Hoosier Tires, high-performance parts, and full-service support to keep you on track. Whether you need expert service or the right gear, he's got you covered. Call 419-283-8580 or stop by today. You can also check out dippinmotorsports.com. You can get his contact information on there. He hasn't really updated that. I know the guy that started the website for him.
Really?
Yeah. He kind of ran out of information from from the owner there, what to put on there. So there's some pretty pictures and contact information on the website. Elevate your racing performance with Dominator Race Products, the premier choice for high-quality, durable race car components. From innovative nose pieces and valances to robust fenders and spoilers, their products are engineered to enhance your vehicle's aerodynamics, durability on the track. Trusted by racers nationwide, Dominator Race Products delivers the reliability and performance you need to dominate the competition. Visit Dominator Race Products today to explore our extensive range of products and take your racing to the next level.
Scott, if you're not doing anything tomorrow morning, I could use somebody to run out there and pick up some parts for me.
To Dominator?
Yeah.
I got this thing called a normal job.
Well, J-O-B.
It's anything but normal, but it's normal hours.
Yeah.
Let's bring in our guests here. We have Kevin Thomas Jr. and Kevin Thomas Sr.'s
We're going to spin the wheel again?
Oh, that's right. Sorry, guys. Hang tight for just a second. We got to spin the wheel here
Just
one more time since our first winner was not. That's the first time that's happened, too, where we haven't had the winner claim the tickets there again.
We had listeners that were watching the clock, too, Scott.
I saw that. So, again, Jamie Fowler, your 5 minutes is up. So we spin the wheel again. Again, this is for a pair of passes to Oakshade Raceway. Good for the 2025 race season.
Their
Any night.
50th anniversary season, Scott.
Grandstand passes. Yep.
Yeah.
There we go. Again, these are the folks that guessed correctly. So it looks like Gabe Mueller is on the clock now.
Oh.
Gabe Mueller, you have 5 minutes. It's 7:15, so you got until 7:20.
There's pretty close connection between Gabe and Jamie.
Yes.
I'm
I'm
wondering about this one.
We may be spinning again. But,
That's it.
All right. Well, let's bring in our guests first.
Absolutely.
And get this off of here. And well, we got so many. Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Oops.
Welcome to Hammer Down.
Let me.
Scott's
y'all
pushing.
let anybody in your building, I see.
Yeah.
That's it.
Obviously.
You talking about the guy here in the middle?
Must be the new guy in the middle.
Yeah, yeah, that guy. That's a good-looking shirt, though. I mean,
I had to represent a
That
little
does
bit.
clean him up a little bit. I like that.
It is a nice shirt. So, yeah, you two, well, Kevin Thomas Jr. Can I call you Junior and Senior? Is that okay?
Oh yeah.
Okay, just call me Senior. Yeah, just call me Senior.
Well,
That's
Junior,
what everybody calls me Senior.
Junior's, you got quite a racing thing going on there. A lot of success with USAC in the national sprints. And then let's focus more on this fire safety thing in Inferno Armor. How did that begin?
Well, it was. I'll let Dad kind of take this one because he was more behind the scenes than what I was at the beginning. Obviously, we used, motorsports as a great platform for what the product can do. But I'll let him take this one because he'll get rambling and we'll be here all night.
So go ahead.
I can't hear anybody.
Oh.
I don't know if it's me or if it's y'all.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I hear y'all fine. You hear me? Good?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah,
we hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know where Junior left off, so I just was being quiet until then.
Yeah, we were staring at you.
He basically tossed it over to you to answer that question.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, as far as the Inferno Armor goes, it's a fire safety product, and it was only normal that we released it in the motorsports lane first, since that's where all of our passions kind of lie, and the reason that it exists in the first place. We wanted to advance fire safety from what normal safety products can do, and we want to enhance that and extend the time that those safety products have to operate in a fire situation. And that's not to diminish anything that any safety product is doing now. We're just adding value to that, in the way of time and being able to extend the life of what a safety garment can do. And then in addition to that, being able to knock down the heat side of things on the thermal side, because that's a part of the fire safety that a lot of people don't address. And it's equally as harmful in the case of a fire as the fire itself. So we stopped there. And of course, you got Jimmy on here tonight who can attest to what it's like to be on fire, and then what this product can do in a situation that he's all too familiar with. So we have a lot of good things going, and for a lot of good reasons. And if you work with this stuff long enough, you might even find a speed secret or two in there. But that's just a little riddle that I'm just going to leave that there for y'all. You may find a speed secret in there somewhere with our stuff, but I'll have to let y'all find that part yourself.
Okay, I want to get into some of the products that you have there, specifically the spray. But before we get to that, more general terms, and this is for all you guys. What do you guys consider the single most important thing when it comes to fire safety for racers?
Well, I'll let the racers answer that. They know more than I do, I think.
I mean, in my opinion, honestly, I feel like one of the biggest things is the officials, and I see a lot of different series. Fire is going to happen whether we like it or not. There's things that you can do all the maintenance in the world. A rock knocks a nozzle off, whatever it is. Things do happen that are out of our control. But fire safety and the people that are working the racetrack, which High Limit, Outlaws, USAC, they all do a great job of that. Those are the three that I'm familiar with. Whenever I show up, I feel fairly, comfortable that whenever things do go wrong, there's going to be people on site fairly quickly. So what we wanted to do was help just the time frame that there are places that you can get outside the ballpark. You can crash in a wrong spot, things of that nature. And an extra 10-15 seconds is a long time. So the scariest part for me, or the thing that I'm most comfortable with, is the amount of officiating that we have and how we've stepped our game up. And what I think is our product allows people to be a little bit more comfortable in those circumstances as well. And going to local races, we've all been to local dirt tracks across the world. We all grew up doing it, so at times there's not the best of situations, whether it be you crash outside the racetrack and fire safety's on the inside of the racetrack. So that's those are just like, I guess, dynamics that I think about now, after being in this a couple years, of what the pros and cons are. And, our job is to just add to that. And, some of the scariest things are, catching on fire, one, and obviously hurting yourself. And you've seen across the sport in general, we've made great gains on all aspects, whether it be the physical safety of yourself, I'd say the bones side of, the safety, like the full containment seats, the head and neck restraints. And then I've seen suits step up, and then our product as well that just enhances those things. So that's a little bit of my take on it. And it's just, I always call it 10 seconds at a time. And that's what we're looking at here is if you can keep adding 10 seconds of good grace to your time, that after you crashed or after something goes wrong, those are just valuable seconds.
Tell us a little bit about your product. Why it?
I want to get his answer first too.
Okay.
To that
Yeah.
question.
No, I mean, I 100% agree. Like he said, we go to the large sanctions and the bigger series and stuff, but at the local level, that is where everyone needs to step it up. In the case of my burns, like he said, we had a faulty fuel line at that point. Strange things happen, and it's unfortunate. On the local level, to step that up, I pulled off the racetrack and went to where I thought I was going to be the safest, and unfortunately I wasn't. But we went to a race down in Florida with the pavement wing car here a few weeks ago, and they actually had a couple of kiddie pools in each corner in the infield of each end of the racetrack. So I mean, that was, and we talked about it, and I mean, the guys knew my story, and we 23 and 24 just
did they do that just for you because they knew your story? Okay.
No, but it's just that added factor. It's like, I don't care if you have a 55-gallon drum down there, take an old fuel drum, plastic one, fill it up with water. If we have an idea of where that safety is or where we can go to be safer, feel safer, that's great. So,
well, the kiddie pool idea is great too, because
awesome.
you could bucket the water out if you needed to, or the driver could
Go
jump
for a swim.
in.
Yeah. So no, it's just good.
And with methanol, which is what most of the sprint cars run, it reacts very well with water.
And tagging on to that, my next question actually that leads into it is, are the tracks doing their part? And I know every track's different. There's different things, but what would you guys consider the minimum fire safety equipment, personnel, whatever, that should be at every single racetrack?
That's very.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Go ahead, Junior.
Yeah, that's just a difficult call. I mean,
Yeah.
you go to some of these smaller places that don't have a budget, that don't get the fans, but at the end of the day, to keep the drivers and the crews safe, that you got to have that stuff, and you got to have it in proper areas. And we need to talk about it at drivers' meetings. Even, I don't care if you run on a front-wheel drive car, I mean, that's still got gasoline. It's still going to fire.
It's still every bit as hot as
when you're on fire. You're on fire. It don't matter if it's alcohol or gas.
As a late model,
Yes.
a fire is a fire.
Yep.
It's yeah.
And it just seems like, for whatever reason, it's just more prevalent over the last couple of seasons. And why? We don't really have any answers for that. But all we can do is just step up our game on safety. And, like myself with just a piece of crap hose that I had just blow out. It wasn't a fitting failure. It wasn't anything. It was just a hose failure. That's why I started up with the hose with Goodrich and stuff, and we build hoses. Just along with the fire safety with these guys, fire extinguishers inside the cars. We're just trying to put all the pieces together.
Yeah, and I think there is, like you said, there's a financial part to it, where it is expensive to outfit trucks and things as MedStar or the Lawrenceburg Fire Crew. It's expensive to do those things. You see those, and it looks like Mad Max is rolling in there, and it's got stuff everywhere, big tanks on them. So it's like, those aren't cheap pieces. It's not something you just go buy at the Ford dealership. So my biggest thing is, there is I feel like there needs to be something on wheels, whether it be a truck, whether it be a side by side, whatever it is. At any given point, there is a side by side at a local track, and I think a lot of it is traveling to a spot, and that gets, just like Jimmy said, that gets held at the driver's meeting. If you can get to a certain spot, you can eliminate time. And I know
Definitely.
that fire is a panic moment, and no matter how prepared you are for it, hot is hot, and we want to get the hell out of there. So we don't necessarily think about those things, but if they are kind of engraved in our head, drivers meeting after drivers meeting, hopefully it helps that one person out, and that's the whole thing. That's You don't catch on fire every race, and there's never a morning that you wake up where you're told that you're going to get caught on fire that day either. So it's always a reactive circumstance, and and that's just practice. That's just practice, whether it's physical practice or mental practice. That you have to go to those certain spots, and whenever you are prepared for those situations, whether it be a front wheel drive, I don't care what you're racing. You could be racing school buses. Gasoline lit on fire and methanol lit on fire is hot, and you got to be prepared for those. And those are the things. I just think transportation is a big key, small or
Definitely.
big. I think that four wheelers and side by sides are a good fix, and if you can afford to do those, I don't think that you shouldn't.
Yeah, it's smaller, compact, and you can get there quick.
Yeah.
You're not as versatile as it's not.
I've
as
been
versatile as a
I've
big
been
truck.
racing a long time, and it worries me if I pull into a racetrack where the safety crew is in shorts and a t-shirt.
And
Yes, I'm
They need to be
you know,
prepared too, because if they're rushing towards a fire in in shorts and a t-shirt, they're not. They're
They're
just
not going
not.
to be very helpful.
Yeah, they're going to
What were you
get.
going to
yeah, I
say?
mean, oh, I was just going to say, and making sure that you cover the prone areas better, like the work area in the pit. When you're getting a car, something has happened to it on track, whether it's a flat tire or he was in an accident or she was in an accident, and you get there, it could be something as small as something you don't see, like a brake line or a fuel line that's dripping, and it hits an exhaust. And it didn't even happen on track, but by the time you got back to the work area in the pits, there's a possibility of that taking place. So just having adequate fire safety equipment in different areas around the track, I think, is what makes you versatile. But also, with us being even though you may go to a local race, there's a lot of people that travel in sprint cars and things. The more people we make aware and have these things already on their pit carts, their trailers, and on their person, will further help us in these areas where maybe safety is not as affordable as there are at some of the sanctioned events. Like, they may have safety, but not as much as we would be comfortable with. So having that added value in our own trailer and being able to be there and be a part of that as a whole, and being aware of those types of things on the front end, can just make us more prepared when that time does happen, whether it's to our driver or somebody else's driver, right? We can always be prepared in those situations.
And that leads me to my next question here. Shifting from the tracks to the drivers, because you can't control what the track has. What can drivers do to protect themselves? What precautions, equipment should every driver have at a bare minimum?
I mean,
Well, I think,
I go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say, I think they do a very good job of almost to the point of mandating it now. All the safety equipment is pretty much worn by all the open wheel guys that I know. I mean, there's not very many people that show up and don't have the correct safety suit or things, but you do see people that have gloves that have holes in them sometimes. They're a little bit worn out. They haven't gone and bought a new
I've seen
pair.
people without gloves.
Yeah, and those are the bare minimums are, to have all of your fire safety equipment, from your shoes, your socks. You need to wear your Nomex underwear, because that's an added layer that can keep things from sticking to you, right? And
Yep.
those types of things. I want to treat all of that. And everybody already uses most of that, but I would say to have all of your skin as covered as possible with some kind of fire safety garment, be it gloves, your balaclava, or head sock, your Nomex underwear, your shoes, and your suit at bare minimum, and then obviously make sure that that stuff is all in compliance as far as time, with the date stamp, and then with your SFI rating and things like that. And and then in addition to that, we'd like you to add Inferno armor to those safety things so we can add time and value to those components.
What about what about fire suppression systems in the cars? Just extinguishers, full systems?
That's for Jimmy and Kevin.
I like them. I know obviously everything's we're working on things at all times, and I feel like the extinguishers inside the race cars, they did a lot of testing, but they got thrown into the deep end more or less of, especially on the sprint car side. The sprint car side, you crash hard. Especially a wing car. A wing car is going fast. It's hard to keep front clips on them, much less bolt-on parts. So like that's the tough thing, is like keeping them intact. But I think they're doing a great job at that. It is, you look at when Logan Schuchart won the $1 million race, there was a fire and it put it out under yellow. So there are times that it works. But our whole thing is like, we don't want to take the place of those. And that is where it gets very misunderstood from people who think they understand our product and people that want all these things. I would like both. And my whole thing is, I only say that because a spray-on additive to our suit is not a mechanical part. The only way that it can't be with you is if your suit falls off, and I hope to God that don't happen.
For multiple reasons.
That is what I see, and I feel like the fire suppression on it is great. And if it is in a controlled environment and you're not flying through the air and parts aren't flying off your car, my only scare is whenever they do fly off, whenever you've done, stretch your seat belts 4 inches, your seat's bent, you done flip down the front stretch, and there's nothing left of the car except for motor and cockpit. My whole thing is, whenever you do that, there are multiple times that you're going night, and I want that to be with you at all times. I don't want it to be able to fly off, even though I think that is a great product. I think it's a great design, and I agree with it 100%. There are just things that happen, and I just wanted something to be able to be with you no matter what happens. And that's the 10 seconds that I'm talking about, that it allows somebody to get over there and or put you out, whatever it is. So
I think this is the time. This is about the time that we should talk about your product, and how it can add
more specifically,
and how it can add that 10 seconds.
Yeah, it does.
And one of the biggest things is people grabbing their seatbelt, like their latches, their buckles. Even when you're on fire, your hands still tell you can't grab that still. I'm going to ask Jimmy. The hardest thing is to get that buckle and get that cam open and get your seatbelts unbuckled. That's what happens. You're in a freak out moment. Your gloves, things are on fire. You're in a world you've never been in, and your hands don't work because they're telling you don't touch anything because they're getting burnt too, right? And it's a nerve-ending thing that takes over your brain that you don't get to control. But like if you look at the Chase Randall thing, he said one of the things that he remembers distinctly was that he was able to reach down and undo his seat belts himself. That's one of the things you hardly ever hear from somebody in a race car. That's the one thing. Like Jimmy and I share a friend who is who's our master distributor in the UK, and they own like 9 racetracks over there, and he's been on fire, and he can tell you that it was just a divine intervention that melted his seat belts, and the flames parted for 2 seconds, and he literally got out because his seat belts melted in half because nobody could get in there to unbuckle him, including himself. Yeah. So I'm restating this from people that have told me this, that have been on fire. This is not me assuming these things, right? And that's what that gave us in that Chase Randall moment when he said that he was able to reach down and undo that himself. That was the aha moment for me, that we actually did in real time under real circumstances. It did what we had intended for it to do. It did it. It did its job. And, you know, it's one of those things where you can have all the controlled tests and all the pieces of paper on the planet, but until somebody catches on fire and goes and they have all the money that they ever need, right, to survive in life. And when they call with tears in their voice, because you can hear it and their voice is cracking and it's their dad, and they go, "Thanks for saving my kid." That's what we do it for.
Well, let's back up a bit.
Nothing else works.
I was going to say, some of our audience may not be familiar with the product we're talking about, the spray-on, I guess. Tell us of what the prevention spray, whatever it's called, it's one of the products that you make under Inferno Armor.
Right.
Yes.
But, tell us what that is, how it works, how to use it, and all that. Give us a little background on it.
So I'm good. So we'll talk over each other all day long. He named me the same name for a reason. So it's a spray-on additive. The way I use it, and every time I go race, I'm actually about to go to Wichita, Kansas right now to run a race car. So I washed my suit and I sprayed it as it's sitting in my garage, and I let it dry. I stuff it in my gear bag. Whenever I get to the racetrack, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to spray it there and worry about it being wet, because obviously it is a liquid. And I run white suits. I would rather not go out there in a damp suit. Next thing you know, I'm brown by the time I come in. So I let it dry.
It's a little pump spray thing. It's not like aerosol.
Yeah, it's a little pump spray. It's
just like Febreze.
Regular.
Yeah, it comes in like a 32-ounce bottle, and so I spray it on. You spray it on even. You don't have to super soak this thing. You just got a nice even mist across it, and its job is for whenever you catch on fire, the methanol, gasoline, whatever it is, it protects you from up to 2,500 degrees, which in a race car, we normally we don't get burned from the direct flame itself. That's the reason we wear suits and all the protective equipment like we talked about earlier. That's why we wear all those things, so the flame doesn't get to us. It's the heat. And that's why, my dad was saying about the Nomex even underneath. There are times where the heat will get to you and create second-degree burns. And if you're racing whenever it's 90 degrees outside, odds are you're sweating. And then next thing you know, you just turn into a boiling egg. And that's where a lot of stuff comes from, is steam. And steam is what gets you the worst. And that's what this prevents. And, we've had multiple people use it. Hell, I do it all the time. I light myself on fire like I'm a nut job. But I trust our product. I'll do demonstrations and things like that all the time with methanol. And I literally don't feel anything. So I have multiple, things that I've done to more or less catch myself on fire. But I believe wholeheartedly that whenever I do light myself on fire in front of 200 people, it's not going to be a big deal. And, that comfort inside the race car is great, because I don't necessarily, if I do feel my leg getting cold from methanol, I don't spaz out. I just shut the engine down. And if I catch on fire, I know that I'm going to be fine. I'll hop out, let the people do what they do, and carry on about your day. But that's also where our fire extinguishers come into play. We have 16-ounce fire extinguishers that are provided. USAC has them, because that's what I run majority of the time. Each corner worker has them. Each flagman has them. You don't have to be involved in any sort of EMT, fire safety. You don't have to be anything to spray this. So, and it's specifically designed, the nozzle, to coat wide enough to coat a human being straight up and down if they're on fire. So
it's mainly to get somebody out of a fire. That's the number one purpose of that extinguisher.
Yeah, you might lose a race car, but you're not gonna lose a human. So that's right. That's obviously a much bigger fire, and that's what I want to explain about that. We don't need people trying to put out full fires with this little can. So it is specifically made for a human being, and those are the things that Inferno Armor has that we provide for at the racetrack stuff. And one is prevention. It comes in a 32-ounce bottle, and is you do it at your house. You can do it before hot laps. It works dry or wet. I just prefer dry. So that's the way that I do it. and then I don't have to worry about it. I can spray, 3 suits and go race all weekend. It doesn't have to be day of. I can spray my stuff on Wednesday and race Friday, Saturday, Sunday and not have to worry about anything.
Now, your product does come out when you wash the garment?
Not 100%, but it's hard to calculate. It's hard to calculate how much does come out within your wash. If you wash your suit,
it diminishes like any other add-in product does. Just like actually Nomex does, Proban does, the FR rating that they put in all the other clothing. Like on regular FR clothing, for example, they say you get 10 washings. That's right on the label when you buy it. And then after that, it's basically just cotton again. So everything diminishes over time. And that's why we have ours as an add-on spray as well. And you can add it after each night, because it'll go from like 100% down to 80%, let's just say, after one washing, then down to like 65%. And so it doesn't just go away. It just gets diminished, and we don't want to take the chance and tell somebody, oh, well, if you're going into a fire-prone area, do it every third wash, and then on the second wash, you're going to totally engulf something, and it doesn't do the way we want it to or the way you intended it to. So why not just spend the $2 or $3 and put it on your suit? Because that's about what it costs, $3 or $4, like buying a bottle of water or something at the concession stand. It's
cheap,
very good insurance for a very good price.
So how many more? I was just going to ask, how many more seconds does that give you if you're fully engulfed in a fire? I know you're big on the whole 10-second thing. Does that topical spray give you 10 more seconds? Does it give you more?
I lit myself on seconds for 46 seconds. So
yeah,
wow.
There's
I've
that.
watched some presentations where they just light a sleeve soaked with alcohol.
But it goes for a while. I mean, it allows you to slow your thinking down and make logical decisions in a very adrenaline-filled, illogical moment, right? And that's what we want to be able to do, because you're going to be in pure panic mode right up for about a half a second and then you're going to click into gear of, I got to get out of here. And when you're able to reach down and undo your buckle like you do after hot laps, and you're still able to do that, that's a big moment in a fire, I would say, huh, Jimmy?
It's huge. Yeah,
that's a big moment.
That's a lot of the thing too. Like with I say 10 seconds. Yeah, that's my saying, but it's just like how much you can withstand. Like I kept adding methanol to a fire that was on a dummy arm that was more of a hillbilly test in my own race shop, and that's how long I could do it. Now, if you could do it for 30, you could do it for a minute and 30, whatever it is. I just know it adds time, and it takes away a big, chunk of heat that you're going to feel if you don't have it. And like, that's the thing. And there are times where the racetrack crews are so good that they're there in 5 seconds and you never even know. You have no idea, but it's the times that you're not. And those are the ones that we can't change.
Like when he leaves the park, and there's nobody out there, right? You're in the dark in the trees. I saw Darren Clayton do that one time in Kentucky. We had to go find him and get a GPS to get him out of there. But, he was
like in my case, it was 6 p.m. qualifying. I got out of the car, in full panic mode, and nobody even knew what was going on. Nobody had a clue. You couldn't see.
And they didn't know the car was on fire.
Nobody knew. They didn't know I was on fire. They didn't. I'm rolling around like an idiot in stones and in full panic trying to get everything completely off. My problem is I couldn't get my shoes off at that point. And, then I just sat there and, like they said, that's the steam. You cooked and you were just in a boiler at that point. So just the awareness, I guess it's just awareness and seeing the signs of, what is he dealing with at that moment? There was people in the stands that knew exactly what the hell was going on, but nobody near me did. So, and for those guys, the corner workers, like you said, somebody to have just that sprayer, right in a pocket or on a holster and on their belt, somebody having that instead of a guy with a Coke, that was my case. So
going back a couple of
other thing,
go ahead, John.
Oh, I was going to say the other thing that we also do is that we do provide tracks and safety crews with bulk extinguishment, because we have that capability where you can put them in the self-charging extinguishers that a lot of the tracks have. And we call them silver bullets, but they're self-charging, so they're the bigger extinguishers that you would see that a corner worker would have. We can also put our product in those, which we do. We do that for several industrial companies around the country and things like that they use in their extinguishers around their plants. But they're the bigger kind, so you're able to self-charge those yourselves, and we sell them by the tote and by the 5 gallon, just ever how they want to buy it. So we do have that opportunity too for tracks.
One of the guests that we've had on our show a couple of times was burned real severely a lot of years ago at a track that's no longer around. But he was in his car, and he had hit a fuel cell that had fallen out, so the fuel vaporized. And the paramedics, when they got him out, asked why he was sitting in the car beating on the steering wheel. And he said, well, my hands were on fire. I was trying to put them out. So that extra 10 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever it gives you, could give you clear thinking time to get out of the car.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
sir.
if you're not feeling that heat, I mean, the heat is just immense, and you don't really... Nobody ever wants to think about it, and you don't know it until you've actually gone through it. But that is probably one of the hardest things to get past, is just knowing, one, that you are, and then that heat. And if that, Inferno Armor can take away and dissipate that heat to where it's hot, but it's not, when you're on fire. So it's like, if you can just get part of that away, it's just huge.
So can you use the preventative spray on more than just your fire suit? Can you use it on your gloves, your boots?
Yeah, you can use it on anything that's a fabric that it'll adhere to. Okay. If it can soak into it, it'll do it. We have even a bunch of welders that use it, people outside of racing.
I was just going to ask you about that.
Yeah. Welders love it. They spray it on their gloves, and they can weld 10% more that day than what they normally could have.
What about
and HVAC guys use it when they're sweating fittings? I know a guy there in Indiana. He actually swapped all of his trucks out and used Inferno Armor. So when he's sweating in tight areas, like inside of a wall cavity, he can spray down that wall cavity, like the insulation and the wood and the backside of the drywall, whatever he's working inside of, and doesn't have to worry about a stray amber or something jumping off when he's sweating and catching something on fire and him buttoning that hole up. And then, he goes home to read that building just burned down, right? Because that's happened. And so these are things that we didn't really plan for it to be used for, but people find things to use it for all the time. And it's really remarkable how versatile this product has become. I know Nucor Steel, they buy it by the tote, and they will spray it on the rotisserie at one of their rebar manufacturing plants, and just to help with that heat for the workers, because it actually helps shield the heat from the workers, and it makes the workers able to stay in there a little bit longer. So there's all kinds of versatility to the product that we're having being found for us, and so we're sharing those as people are making us aware of the unique things you can do with it. It's almost like the WD-40 of fire safety and heat.
I like that. Yep.
Junior, we'll ask you first. One of our listeners wants to know how they can buy the product, and then we'll ask Jimmy for our local listeners.
So we have, obviously you can buy online, but now that we're, getting out there in dealers, we'd like you to go on the website, look at our dealer registration, see who's closest to you. And if you can or are willing to buy from them, we would prefer that you did that. But if you live in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing around you, you can go to the website and order online. But we have a lot of people in Ohio, Michigan, all across, basically everywhere that that there's race cars, there's probably a dealer. So they're all in the hotbeds of Pennsylvania and California and Oklahoma. So we got people everywhere. So I would prefer that you support the local guys more or less, and support the people that have supported us. And they're carrying it all kinds of places, and a lot of them I know travel to races, and They're everywhere. So if you could just get on the website, look at our dealer list, and if you recognize a name that carries it, obviously we would like you to buy it from those guys.
On your website,
Yep.
do you have? I've seen a couple of your videos. Are those available on your website too, so people
They
can
are.
see a visual?
They are. Yes, absolutely. We're looking at making some more videos too. I just ran out of suits to burn up. So I got my lady at Henchman, Nancy Chumley. She's working on getting me some bear stuff. That way I don't have to burn up my old suits, because I'm a bit
Yes.
impatient. I like to just do it right now. So we're working on that.
Yeah.
Now locally,
And
go ahead.
Jimmy,
Yes. No, locally we carry it. I carry it at my workshop here in town, downtown Toledo, Abe's Auto Parts. I carry it at the racetrack, the race shop. So wherever you need it, we're available anytime.
How can people get a hold of you? Best.
Bulldog Safety Performance, my Facebook page, or at work, Abe's Auto Parts,
Or get-
419-255-8800. Or
They could probably get a hold of
I was
Ron
gonna-
Miller
yeah,
Race
I was
Cars,
just
and
thinking-
we could
Yeah,
make
we've got it
arrangements to
everywhere.
have it at our shop.
We'll direct them. We'll funnel them toward you, Jimmy.
perfect.
I do have a question about the topical spray. Does it do anything to the driver's suit? Does it affect any of the fire retardant properties of
The innate
those suits?
fire retardancy.
Yeah. Does it hurt it at all?
No, we actually
it
got.
actually does not.
Okay. So there's
Go ahead,
just
Kevin.
We just did some fairly proper testing on that exact situation, and because I know there's been some things out there that have said otherwise, and the testing that we've done says the exact opposite. So obviously we're a third party. They're suit manufacturers and drivers and such. They're not told of which detergent they can use. So at the end of the day, we believe that our product works. We have visual proof, and we are close to now having written proof that our product is doing the exact opposite of what people think that it could do to a suit, because that is a common question. Does it hurt the suit? Because of their
It
value.
was mainly only one person that asked that, and tried to negate that at some kind of scientific level. He was literally called out, and we're trying to be respectful of that. So we went and got independent level FIA level testing done at using the same equipment, everything firsthand to put that to rest, and we've been able to do that with our off-the-shelf version, which is exactly what everybody has. It's just exactly what Jimmy sells. It's what we sell, and we were able to pass FIA level testing unofficially, which it will be official sooner rather than later. But our whole point being is that we wanted to go prove the point in an extremely objective way, with nobody knowing anything about anything. And I literally flew halfway around the world to do that. And I literally did it just last week, just to prove the point. And we were able to do that to the point that we have now probably the attention of every sanctioning body under the sun. And I'll leave it at that. And you know how high it goes, right? I mean, and so we're at that level down. And we got their attention. We didn't go asking for them. They asked for us to come there as a result of their own internal testing. And then we were able to further prove those points. So it really helps us with the confidence to go out on these types of shows and let people know publicly now that that we can say that with confidence, and nobody can negate that because we've done the proper testing to prove otherwise. So some of it turns into conjecture and hearsay, and we wanted to shut that down with factual information. So we've been able to do that.
I don't know the person you're talking about. It was actually just talking about your product with
Jimmy
another.
does.
I was talking to another racer about it, and that was the first thing he asked me, and I was like, I don't know. That's a good question, so I figured I'd ask.
Yeah.
But one of our listeners here wants to know if you sell any of this stuff to fire departments.
Well, that's a bit trickier than it comes out to be. It is. There's a lot of
As much as
behind
we
the.
want to say yes, we can't right yet. There's a little bit of we'll call it the government bureaucracy that we're trying to weed out at this moment in
Some
time.
tape.
That is, you know, if the old way of doing business is not how we were brought to do business as far as a family. So if you're not willing to do things that are not above board, sometimes the wait is a little bit longer, if you will, right? So we're having to flush out some of the quails that are still in the bushes, right? And we got to get those out so that we can do this the right way. And we're making progress towards that daily on global fronts. And so again, we're doing things on a more global market so that we can come back home and just prove the point to the bureaucrats, right? And that's what we've been able to do. And then we can bring it back home and go, see, this is what we were trying to tell you in the first place. Meaning that we have entire countries right now that are working towards implementing this product in their fire safety line of things to go to when it comes to putting out fires in their communities. And I mean like entire countries, prominent countries. And so that will be making its way back to the United States sooner rather than later. I know that's a long-winded answer, but I want people to know that we're working on every front every day to make everything that we can in your daily life, as well as, you know, your industrial and professional life. We want to make them safer, whether you're spraying the carpet around your space heater in your living room in the wintertime, right? Or your dog's bed that sits in front of the fireplace. I mean, you think outside the box. Racing is where our passion is, but it has a use for literally everyday life. And that's what we're starting to realize, thanks to our customers and the people that tell us where they use it. Again, it's just growing daily with people's imaginations, to be honest.
In that same vein, one of our listeners says that I know they had an oil line break and it coated their seat cover with oil. Now they've cleaned it to the best of their ability, but they're still concerned that they want to know if your product would help that seat cover over the oil that they know is still in the seat.
Over the oil, that's tough because it is obviously it's a water-based product. Water and oil is difficult, but I don't think it should be used as more of a coating. I don't think so, just because the way that it does work is when it's heat activated. So if you have oil, you have water. Those two don't mix really anyway, so they're going to want to separate themselves. Now, do I think that it's going to help the situation? Yeah, but I think it'll eliminate it entirely? No.
Well, here's the issue, right? It's the sequence of the layering of the liquid, right? So if it was on there first and the oil got spilled on it second, then we're protecting it all day long, and it would burn the oil off. And the seat would still be there. It may be black, but it won't be burnt. It'll just be black, right? From the fabric will change color, just like the charring of a paper towel when we do that, or any kind of just regular cotton. If you can see it, it will turn a color, but it will not become part of the fuel source. So if you put our stuff on a fabric, i.e. a race suit, for example, you put it on before all of the other liquids get to it. Now you're there when the heat gets to it, because the heat doesn't know what's on it, but when the heat gets to our product and activates it, it shuts down the fabric, and that's how you get your heat shield, and as well as it being non-flammable. And then what happens is, because we've done this, is that you'll have a surface burn. Well, it'll burn all the oil off, and then when the oil's finished burning, then what you have is nothing, and then it just goes out. And Kevin's done that with fuel. We've done that with other fuels here. I've done it with gasoline. He's done it with methanol. But it literally burns the fuel source off until the fuel source is gone. And then when there's nothing left to burn, it will not burn the fabric because it's protected.
Let me ask you guys a question, because this has popped in my head. Say I'm a new racer. I see this product. It sounds awesome. Sounds great. I come to you, or you sell fire suits too, right? Yeah. Just give me a single layer fire suit. I got this spray I can spray on. What do you say to that person?
I try to talk people out of a single layer suit.
But I got
all
this
day
spray.
long.
It keeps the heat away,
and-
keeps
and-
everything.
It's great, but you still need the fire
No.
protection.
Okay.
You need the Nomex.
Right.
I mean, there's too many times we go to a local racetrack, and I think, Junior, you know this. We see
Yeah.
different
It's
forms
about
of
the time, right?
Yeah, it's different forms of motorsport that we're in, and you're at local racetracks, and you see some of the local guys, and they're in T-shirts and
Well,
no head
but I'm just
socks
running
and-
a bomber
but-
car. Why do I need a 3-layer suit? Well, fire in a bomber car is every bit as hot as it
Fire
is
is
in a
fire.
sprint car or a dirt late model.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to say what's going to happen in real life. Okay. And it's just real life. Racers, not very intelligent by design. Okay. By design.
No offense taken.
Case in point, look at the company I keep. Look at my DNA. Not very intelligent by design. Just kidding, son. But
They know.
we're going to buy the minimum that we can buy to get in the car and be able to get on track, because we bought the bomber because we couldn't buy an open wheel modified, and we bought the open wheel modified because we couldn't buy a lake model, and on and on and on, right? We buy as much as we can get, and then as little as necessary on everything else, right? Whether it's food or tires for our pickup truck, but we're going to get stuff for our race car. Well, sadly, the safety suit falls in that same category a lot of times. They're going to buy what they can to get by. So whatever the track says you have to buy to get by, that's what 90% of the people will own, right? And it has nothing to do with what we tell them to do or what we don't tell them to do. If they say they can race in T-shirts and jeans, we got enough people that are willing to risk it all and do exactly that.
Or a football helmet.
And sometimes, yes, and they got straight off the bus, if we all know what I mean. Right?
My suggestion is, if that is the way that you do go, we would rather you have our product, but we would rather you not go that way.
Definitely.
Gotcha.
Correct. There you go.
I would rather you
said.
have a 2 or 3 layer suit, but if you are just insisting on racing in a T-shirt and flip flops, spray it on your feet,
That's on you.
spray it on your shirt, but please don't do that.
Right. And I mean, and that's the thing. If you only have access to a single layer suit, put the single layer suit on, spray our stuff. If you can afford a double layer suit, get a double layer suit, spray our stuff on. If you can get a 3-layer suit, it's going to be the same answer every time. Get as much as you can afford and then add hours to it, and you're going to have more time than you thought you had with what you have by itself. And that would be what I would say every single step of the way. I came across the revelation, and I guess from Kevin never being a kart racer, everything in karting is flammable. Everything. The driver's suit, the gloves, everything. None of it's non-flammable. None of it's fire rating. None of it.
None.
So, and the reason is, right, because the insurance people and the liability, bean counters and that types of thing saying, well, you're going to separate from the cart in case of a fire, so you don't have to worry about it. So you don't. So therefore, they don't. So the entire, so at what level do you stop thinking about fire safety, right? I don't agree with that line of thinking, but I do understand why, as a whole, they make that decision. So where do you draw the line at fire safety, and at what vehicle do you start implementing that in the mindset of a racer?
It all falls under what you're allowed to do and what you're getting away with. And they've been racing non-fireproof suits and karts until they were put on go-karts, until it existed.
Yep.
Like I have a lot of people, and that subject's probably not going to change. They're going to change their whole format of how they do things. But I do have some kids in Arizona that race go-karts, and they don't spray it on anything but their right arm, because that's the only one that gets hot. And so they use it in certain circumstances, and that's just what they do. And like, I'm not going to veer them away from that. I would rather them spray their whole suit for if something stupid does happen, because they do run off of fuel, and fuel is fire at some point. So, but if I could suggest, they're not going to change the whole suit manufacturing process just yet, but I do suggest it on that side too, and anything in between where you're in, because at the end of the day, 32 ounces gets you about 10 to 15 races. And if you're a small kid racing go-karts, it gets you like 20 nights. So it's less than the Red Bull that
So
you
almost
bought
a-
or the hot
Yeah.
dog that you bought.
Almost a whole season at your local track.
Yep.
It's almost a whole season. It's not even out.
Yeah.
It's a $45 bottle, but it lasts you for a while. And I used mine for 16 nights last year, one bottle, and then I had to go get my other one. And that comes down to just over $2. Yeah, you can't go buy popcorn for $2.
Right.
And just to
So I would
have that comfort level in your brain to know that I am least protected. Because I don't
Yeah.
care it doesn't matter what suit you have. I mean, I don't know who you run. You run Hinchman, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, I run Sparko, and, I've new suit every season. The one I had was like, I don't know, 9 nights old at that point. It doesn't matter what suit, what brand you're wearing. You're going to burn. It's going to burn, and it's only going to protect you for so long. If you could spray this on, like he said, $45, it's going to get you almost a whole season, especially at the local level.
Do you use it now?
I sure do. I even spray the fuel lines inside the car.
Well, I'm sold.
Yeah, so seat cover, the belts, I mean, everything. I mean, I just feel, like he said, you get that extra few minutes to grab that belt buckle, and you're not fighting because you're on fire, your gloves are on fire. If you can take all that stuff away and then take the heat away as well. I mean, when they're saying it protects up to 2,500 degrees, and I didn't burn, I melted. So it was like, it was like a year too late. It's like, what if?
Yeah. When did this come out? When did this product come out? The first I saw it was PRI.
2020, was it 23?
Yeah, it would
PRI?
have been early.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been late 23.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow, I'm getting older by the
Yeah,
minute.
because I was still hobbling when I
2023.
met you, senior.
Yeah, 2023 PRI. So we're year and a quarter, almost year and a half here. And that, even to go back, that's also the tough thing about the fire department is like, we would love to get in all these places, but we've been around for 600 days, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just red tape and things that we got to go through, and we're working on all those things. I wish we could just give it out to the masses, but it's everything's a work in art, and I feel like we're making great gains on everything. Having people like Jimmy come on here and get us all kind of going and talking about these things are great in my opinion, because it's just information that you get more or less pretty raw instead of some sugar coated speech at wherever the heck you're at. This is what it does, is how it does it, and this is the trust we have in it.
Absolutely.
Again, go to your website, infoarmor.com.
Inferno.
And Inferno. I'm sorry. Inferno.
Info Armor.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
InfernoArmor.com. And you've got some videos that show how well the product works. It's not BS.
Have you used it, Ron?
I've seen it. That's all.
Oh, are you going to use it?
Yeah.
I think I will too.
Because I know the guy that sells
I
it.
know. You
It's
got
right
2
here.
sales already coming your way. So
Yeah, I mean, we just like they said, the karting stuff. I got a kid out of Columbus right now. Just ordered some seatbelts and a bottle of Inferno armor, and he runs an outlaw kart out of Columbus. So, I mean, it's getting out. I mean, kids are starting to understand that, hey, we need to protect ourselves a little bit better.
yeah,
I guess my biggest thing would say on that whole, like the little people thing and when not to, if it has seat belts, you need to have this on your suit.
Absolutely.
Right? If it has seat belts, you need to have it on your suit.
I mean, I'm
quarter midgets on up.
Exactly. I was just going to say, I burn up a freaking alcohol quarter midget and back in the day, at Toledo, we were out there and it was a test day and the thing caught on fire and we were like, what the hell do we do? We were out there getting buckets of water in a puddle trying to put out a fire because we didn't have anything.
So, I mean, I really
90s
do
and nobody
believe that
did.
everybody can use this. And it's gonna do a lot more good than it ever does any kind of harm. I can promise you that. I mean,
For sure.
we're going to have a lot of good stories, and there's going to be a lot of people that won't have to go through extended stays in places they don't want to be. And I, like I said, I got friends that have done this. I got Jimmy and Billy that I can talk to anytime, and that's what we want to diminish. If I can diminish those stories, I want to diminish those stories.
Absolutely. Nothing worse than seeing your wife and your kids come in to see you and you're in that position. And it's like, or, when I was in the position of sitting in an ambulance waiting, just feet hanging out and your dad and your wife and your kids are staring at you and you're just like, you don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that.
No.
Let alone my son just started to run the sprint car. So it's like, I would never wish that upon anyone. It's just horrible.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's getting pretty dark. I see Junior there. He's getting getting hard to see
away.
So I don't want to keep you too much longer. But one other thing I suppose that's kind of important is people may be concerned. This sounds like a wonderful product. It's got to have some weird chemicals or something in it. From what I remember reading, this is an environmentally friendly,
absolutely
water-based thing, like you said.
Yep. We have the gold standard of approval on the Green Guard testing, which is the eco-friendly testing where it doesn't harm the fish, the cats, the dogs, the grass, the plants, the people,
the humans. Yeah,
it's all eco-friendly. All the forever chemicals that are in most firefighting chemicals today, we don't have that. We don't have any forever chemicals. It's an all green company, and it's an all green product. All of our products that we come up, no matter if it's our paint that we are coming out with now. Whether it's our topical textile and garment spray, whether it's our extinguishers, it's all eco-friendly, green, no forever chemicals in any of the things that we do. I mean, we're trying to be conscious and aware of all things at all times. So that also goes with that.
Awesome. Well, when's your next race, Junior? You said you're headed to, was it Wichita?
Wichita on Saturday with the Outlaws. We were going to try to run 2 nights this week, but the weather don't look good for the first one, and it's a lot further away. So we're gonna go with one weekend or one race this weekend, and then the next weekend is the start of the USAC season here in Indiana.
Gotcha. Well, our guests usually go on to win their next race, so good luck this week.
No pressure there, but
yeah. If I go win an outlaw race, I'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Yeah.
We appreciate the time, guys. Thank you very much. A lot of good information here, a lot of good ideas as well. And again, InfernoArmor.com is the website. People can get more information there. Contact Jimmy McCune, local dealers, to get those products. Right? You got the extinguishers and the spray?
Extinguishers and the topical spray. It's all in stock.
Very good. Cool.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Good deal.
Perfect.
Well, thanks for having
fellas.
us.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
Love that shirt, Jimmy.
Take
thanks,
care,
guys.
We'll see you guys.
All right, see ya.
See y'all.
So there you've got it.
There you got it. Trying to make that. There we go. They're disappearing on their own. There we go. Okay. Plop this back on here. So yeah, interesting stuff there. So you have all this stuff in stock. People can come pick
We'll
it
have
up.
it at the racetrack. We'll have it at
You have
my
the same
shop in town.
same prices on here.
Absolutely.
If they mention the Hammer Down Racing Report, do they get any kind of discount?
We'll work at something, I think.
There you go. Mention the Hammer Down Racing Report, and maybe you'll get some discount there. Before we move on here real quick, we do have to spin the wheel again for the 50th anniversary thing.
I think Brittany really wants those darn tickets.
I think so too. We're running out of names on the wheel, so let's bring that back up. I suppose I should have done that first. Oops. Click on the right thing.
I think
here.
Brittany wants a sticker really, really bad.
No, these are the passes.
Oh, the passes.
These
That's
are the
right.
passes. So we'll get rid of Gabe here, and well, she's got like a 1 in 3 chance because I don't think it redoes the same. Oh, maybe it does. All right, so this one doesn't count because Gabe and Jamie. No, that doesn't count. Hold on. Let me get rid of. Let me do something real quick. In the meantime, Ron, talk about Ron Miller race cars.
Ron Miller race cars. Yeah. The newest supplier of Inferno armor.
Wait, you have Inferno armor too?
I will.
Oh,
Soon to be.
I know a guy that can deliver too.
Yes.
On
Drive
his
right
way,
by you.
on his
often.
way home. Yeah.
now are your prices the same as what they have on the website? Okay.
What are the
prices.
prices, Jimmy? I'm sure some listeners.
45 for the topical spray, and I think it's 32 for the
extinguisher.
I'm gonna lie. I think it's 32, but don't quote me.
Okay.
I suppose I could just pull shop extinguishers. There you go.
$34.99.
$34.99. Okay.
Waste extinguisher. Yep.
All right. So here we go. We're going to spin again. This going back to the beginning of the show here, and very important. You got to listen to win.
You got to spin to win.
Well, and spin to win, but you got to listen to win too.
Yes.
So now, Brittany Ross.
There we go.
There you go.
You've got 5 minutes.
Is she still listening? Is the question.
Brittany, you better be there.
So
You were there most of
it's
the evening.
8:16. You got till 8:21. So there you go. Put I win in the comments. She is still listening. Ron Miller Race Car is awesome. So put I win in the comments, and these are yours.
So there was a couple of questions on there. One, I will not be at Toledo Speedway. It's a non-wing sprint car race. I probably won't be there. And there was someone else that asked a question. I don't remember what it was.
I want to know if your sister is still racing, and I think it was probably your cousin.
Yeah, it was my cousin Sarah. No, she lives in California. Unfortunately, she went through that fire situation out there that they had out in LA. So, yeah, they're dealing with a lot of things at the moment. But she hasn't done anything in racing in a number of years.
Yay, Brittany!
Congratulations, Brittany. You have yourself a pair of passes to Oakshade Raceway you can use for the grandstand anytime this year. See that persistence. It paid off for you. Brittany Roth. You have 30 days to pick those up from Ron Miller Race Cars. And congratulations. There you go, Ron.
I got them.
See, Ron's got them now, so they're out of my hands. Racers. We did that one already. Let's do this one. Get ready, race fans. The 2025 Oakshade Raceway 50th season schedule is out. The season kicks off on Saturday, April 26th. That is one day less than a month from now.
Ooh.
DCR Graphics Sportsman, Superstocks, Dominator Superstocks, and Compacts will be there opening night. Following week, full show of late model Sportsman. DCR Graphics Sportsman, Dominator Superstocks, and Compacts. That starts May 3rd, runs pretty much weekly through the end of August. Of course, the Barney Oldfield race coming up on Saturday, June 14th, and the most electrifying night of the year, the annual birthday race featuring the UMP Dirt Car Summer Nationals / American Late Model Ironman Series event, a co-sanctioned deal. That's Saturday, July 12th. You can stay in the loop on all the high-octane action. Visit oakshaderaceway.com and follow on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and even TikTok for the latest updates. Oakshade Raceway, where the fastest meet to race. And if you're planning your dream wedding or special event, make it unforgettable with Magic Moment Entertainment. If you mention the Hammer Down Racing Report with them, you get to save $100. Maybe you can match that on the fire protection spray. You're just looking at
$100.
So you'd owe them $75 or
right.
wait, $60 or $55. My math is all messed up there. But anyways, you save $100 off DJ service if you mention Hammer Down Racing Report with Magic Moment. He's got 30 years of experience. Ron Burt will make sure your event is perfect. Magic Moment handles everything from contracts to full liability insurance, giving you peace of mind, plus no hidden fees, no charges for mileage or dance floor lighting ever. He specializes in wedding receptions, but excels in corporate. I don't.
Gene Steele.
We were laughing at Gene.
If you need a date, I'm available. Was that to Brittany?
Somebody would say
Anybody.
Oh. I'm totally messed up here. He does wedding receptions, but he also excels in corporate events and mitzvahs. He takes pride in working closely with couples and clients to create magical moments tailored just for you. Call 419-594-2261 or find Magic Moment Entertainment on Facebook under Magic Moment Entertainment or Ohio Sports Blitz. And Ron Burt, he sent us, he actually mailed this to us. Snail mail. It's crazy about New Bremen Speedway, a whole history. I was looking through some of this stuff. 1926 goes back to. It's some interesting stuff, so we may take a look at that and maybe do a show on that in the future. So thank you, Ron Burt. Got a little bit of racing news to cover before we get to our How Many and a chance to win one of those DCR Graphics Hammer Down Racing Report stickers. So let's do that right about now.
Latest racing news.
So Montpelier Speedway, they kick off their season next Saturday, April 5th. And I planning on going there. And by the way,
Really?
yeah, do you have the weights off of your vehicle yet so I can put it on mine?
I've probably
Or should I come over and take it off?
I probably, that too.
Okay.
But there's also some ballast, some lead in the shop. So, yeah,
Okay.
come on over, Scott.
I only got a week left here to get ready. Montpelier Speedway, though, they've announced a Moo Crew membership program. The Milkman, Ryan
Crew,
Sutter,
yeah.
the Milkman Productions,
Right.
that does the Moo part of it.
Right.
It's a program for race teams committed to racing with Montpelier Speedway. Some of the perks include access to the Point Fund, discount on driver pit pass each week, free transponder rental, a bio featured in the Montpelier Motor Speedway program. I saw that. I was like, somebody does a program? That's awesome.
Ooh, that's cool.
Merchandise display and more, and you get that for $125 there. And hopefully we'll get Ryan on next week, and we'll talk more about that and everything else coming up at Montpelier Speedway for the summer. Full Racing Night in America, presented by Kubota, is back for its 5th year of action with 10 events on the schedule. The mini-series once again posts a $75,000 Champions Take if a driver has perfect attendance, or a guaranteed $50,000 without perfect attendance.
You going to catch any flow shows, Jimmy?
I catch often.
I
I
believe,
watch a lot of them.
I believe these are late models. I don't think he can race.
Oh.
Do you got a late model?
No.
That'd be awesome.
Not yet.
The total point fund for the miniseries exceeds $137,000. Season opens May 6th at LaSalle, Illinois Speedway, with the facility's grand reopening, which also serves as the opening round of the annual Illinois Speed Week as well. Won't be much longer before Lorain County will have its newest racetrack. Do you remember we talked to McCune? I forget his first name. About this back, the whole landfill he was going to develop into a whole racing complex. Finally happening.
Ooh.
Although it's missing a part that I was going to be excited about, because originally in the plans
There
it
was
was
an oval track.
Yeah, 3/8 or half-mile dirt oval.
3/8, yeah.
But at least things are good. It still sounds pretty cool, though.
But that was going to be down the road anyway.
Yeah, the Ohio Kartplex is what it's going to be called. The $12 million project has had several false starts since the plan was announced in 2021. That's when we broke the news there. The track is being built on the former Cromwell Park, which was a landfill. The developers had to get approval from the Ohio EPA and the Army Corps of Engineers and complete environmental studies. The asphalt will serve as an additional cap on the land, a requirement for building on a former landfill. Phase 1 will include a 0.82-mile competition track. These are kart tracks.
Right.
Plus a 0.43-mile track for rental carts.
And
So-
they'll have rental cars.
Yeah, so it'd be like going to Sportway down here.
Right.
It's probably a little bit different. And they're also going to have a 0.3-mile indoor track for electric carts.
Ooh.
So maybe some racing during the winter. There will also be an esports arena with motorsports simulators, a restaurant, a brewery, and an event center.
Ooh.
There will also be a radio-controlled track, plus an on-site storage facility, a motorsports retail store, a lounge, and a fitness center. Why not? Facility is expected to open in May. That sounds like a cool place.
How much of that will be ready in May?
I don't know.
I think just the first track.
Probably.
Right?
I don't know.
Ooh.
We'll see.
12 mil. That's
Sounds
pretty
impressive. I mean, even
Yeah.
if you're hungry, just go there to eat. I mean, you could
gonna
go live there.
We're
Really,
gonna have to call him and lob.
like it.
We're gonna have to
Chris
call him.
McCrone, that was his name. Yeah, I'll get a hold of him again. He was a nice guy.
Have to call and lobby for that dirt
For the
track.
dirt track,
Yeah.
yes. What else we got here? Wednesday night, Kyle Busch and his 9-year-old son Brexton raced in the 600cc winged micro division at Millbridge Speedway. Did you watch that last night?
Did not.
I know you're a big fan of Millbridge. I thought you
I
would watch
am.
that. Kyle started the feature in 6th place, and Brexton started 7th. Kyle finished 3rd. Brexton finished 6th. Kyle Larson's son kicked all their asses, though. Owen Larson, he ended up. He won the restricted micro. That was something
Okay.
other. I thought it was the same race. No, it was a different race. Anyway, so Kyle beat his kid in that race, head to head at least, but didn't win the race overall.
That's somewhere over the summer. That's going to change, Scott.
Did you ever race your kid in a kart when he was younger? When's the first time you and your son raced head-to-head?
Probably in a late model at Oakshade.
Okay. What about you?
I wouldn't call it yet. We did a couple of races at Butler last year, but that was just him trying to learn a 410 sprint car for the first time. So it's coming. Probably maybe later this year.
You're gonna have to make a big announcement on social media like Kyle did and make it a big event.
It's not really that big event, but no,
Well, it might be for him if he beats you.
Well, yeah, it will be, and I will never live it down. He will remind me every day.
According to Ron Burt, we got a scoop from him.
Really?
Magic Moment. Yeah, he said or sent me a thing. It said the Outlaw 350 Super Modified Series, and maybe you'd know more about this. It's proud to announce the addition of Larry Bowes as the series announcer.
Wow.
No, this is news to you too. Okay.
And we thought he was retired.
Yeah, I thought he was retiring. And he's also going to be the public relations coordinator. Larry brings his wealth of knowledge of auto racing world as his career span many years, ranging from Sandusky Speedway to Eldora Speedway, and of course his involvement in the Rumble in Fort Wayne. Opening day is May 31st for the Outlaw 350 Super Modified Series at Sandusky Speedway.
I believe that Larry promoted the very first hangover race at Sandusky
Did he really?
Speedway. Yeah.
We might have to talk to him about that. Mav, I just read this just before he came on. Mav TV was acquired by Racer.com, will be rebranded Racer Network.
Really?
I never really understood Mav TV because years ago, I always thought the Lucas Oil series was on it, and I'd go to watch, and it would be something else, but it was on the app, so I couldn't watch it. And now I just watch everything streaming, so I never watch Mav TV anymore, and I didn't even know they still existed. So good for them. They're now Racer Network. And
it's still on your streaming service.
I'm sure it is. I just never watch it. It's all pre-recorded stuff. I don't know. Did they ever have live races on there? I thought they did at one point. They did. They used to have the Chili Bowl Nationals. At least the feature part of that.
They did some of that. I think they might have live streamed the Little 500.
Oh, okay.
A couple years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago.
But was it on their broadcast network? See, it was weird the way they would separate things like that. Romulo Race Cars, your one-stop racing headquarter. You've kind of already talked about it.
Make it short. We're running late, Scott.
Yeah.
Everybody knows how to get a hold of me. And
all right, DCR Graphics is your source for high-quality wrap stickers, die-casts, and banners, and more. Speaking of which, Dale, is my wrap going to be done in time for next weekend? Just asking.
we've still got a sticker to give away, too.
We do. We're going to do that here momentarily. DCR Graphics has you covered with full wrap starting at just $429 plus shipping. If you want to showcase your car in miniature form, get a box of 8 custom diecasts for only $130 plus shipping. Available for late model sprints and modifieds. And now DCR has even more ways to show off your style. Check out their brand new lineup of crew shirts, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, flags, and more. Hit up DCR Graphics on Facebook or call 419-308-9523 to place your order today. DCR Graphics, where speed meets style. Don't forget, he's got that thing where you can fill out a form. I shared last Friday. If you go to our Facebook page, there's a link to the form. All you got to do is fill out like 3 questions, put whatever name you want, and your name will be by our logo, by the Hammer Down Race Report logo on the hood of his car for this year. So
pretty cool.
There you go. Jimmy needs to come down to Fremont and run Ron's truck when Jimmy Boy runs Fremont.
Hopefully, I'm in my own sprint car.
That was just,
if not,
you can do it, Jamie Miller.
My
just
son.
You could
run everything.
Run everything. Yeah. There you go. No Hammer Down hotline this week. Unfortunately, I was disappointed. No fun with that. So we're going to jump right into tonight's How Many and a chance to win another Hammer Down Race Report.
How many?
Yeah. So, one of these bad boys is going to somebody from last week. Last week's question was how many World of Outlaw late models would be at Swainsboro on Saturday, plus how many World of Outlaw sprints were going to be at Cotton Bowl Speedway on Saturday. Those numbers were 42 and 52, which, if my math is correct, is 94. You said 72. I said 73. So finally, my one-upping you is finally one-upped you.
Wait. You said 73, I said 74. And
no, you said 72.
Oh, okay.
72, I said 73. I'm one. We need to do some math there. So, congratulations, me. Our listener winner was a little closer than I was. That'd be Cheryl Desgrange, who I think has already left. So hopefully somebody tell her that she won. 86 was her guess. She was closest there. So congratulations, Cheryl. I already gave you her sticker, right?
Yeah.
You got 30 days to pick that up from Ron Miller Race Cars. Congratulations. This week's How Many question is sort of what last week's was going to be before Attica canceled.
Right.
Last week. They have not canceled. I want to clear that up.
Right.
Attica's still racing tomorrow night as of right now. So the question for this week and a chance to win a DCR Graphic Hammer Down Racing Report window sticker is how many 410s plus how many late models plus how many 305s? So basically, how many total competitors will be at Attica on this weekend? We're opening it up because in case they don't run Friday night, they have Saturday as a rain date. So we're going to say this weekend. Put your guess in the comments of our Facebook Live or the YouTube Live, and you'll have until, we'll say noon, because that's when they're going to make the call tomorrow. Noon on Friday, noon Eastern time on Friday. So if you're listening to us on the podcast Friday morning, hop on over to the Facebook page, find the video, put your guess in. You can only guess once. You can't change your guess once you put it in.
But remember, Saturday is a rain date.
Saturday is a rain date. So, and that Saturday does count.
Because
either night counts, because the question is this weekend.
That's it.
Specific.
Very well. I changed that, actually, from Friday night to... So we got early guesses ranging from 62 to 140.
And you go first.
And I don't remember how many. They had about 20,000, about 50.
Yo, don't do that. You got to guess,
Yeah,
too.
you're going to guess,
Oh,
too.
that's my guess.
I didn't see your guess, but I'm going to go with 70. How old are you, Ron?
Ouch.
52.
I'm going to go with 72.
Oh.
No, 73. I'm going with 73. That's what I took last week. I'm sticking with 73.
I think you're a little low. Go ahead,
think
Jimmy.
so?
I said 76.
I'm not going to one-up anybody. I'm going with the exact number, and it is 86.
80. Well, that's what Cheryl had guessed.
Well,
all right. Well, there you go.
and
John says zero.
John is being very pessimistic.
Yes.
John says it's going to rain.
Well, it is going to rain.
To be fair, it's going to rain tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Should be cleared out. Very early afternoon.
Well, let's look at our DCR Graphics racing menu for this weekend, and we'll look and see what we got to expect.
This weekend's racing menu.
Still just Attica on the local section of the menu. Your appetizer, I guess. Friday, still on schedule as of right now. Again, they're going to make a decision tomorrow at noon if they're going to continue and run on Friday night or if they're going to move it to try on Saturday. Either way, it's going to be the Advanced Drainage Systems night, 410 sprints, late models, 305 sprints. Gates open at 5, racing at 7:45. General admission $22, and again, the rain date is Saturday, March 29th. And you kind of already did the weekend weather pit stop.
I did.
So we're good.
I believe tomorrow...
It's going to be warm at least, either way.
That's right. As long as they're patient, tomorrow will be fine. I'm not real confident that the rain date will work.
I think the rain's coming in later, though, on Saturday, from what I saw.
Yeah, like 5, 6 o'clock.
I heard after 10, but...
That's what I've read.
All right, he's the official meteorologist, so we got to go with what he says. Other series action, Esperance Speedway Friday night. It's ODH Mechanical Street Stock Month of Madness. That is a mouthful. Featuring street stocks, production sedans, new Star Juniors, Top Star Juniors, late models, and AMCAs. That's all Friday night at Esperance Speedway. High Tech Toowoomba has already canceled for this weekend. They're supposed to run Saturday, but due to the rain forecast, they have canceled this Saturday's races, which was going to be the Sprint Car Queensland title. Kalgoorlie International Speedway. Did I say it right this time?
Yes, you
I didn't
did.
even struggle. Still looks like Kalgoorlie.
Don't start.
Saturday, it's the Bob Wakefield Cup featuring street stocks and junior sedans. Perth Motoplex.
Big race.
Saturday is the Maddington Toyota Speedway Grand Finale featuring sprint cars, late models, speed cars, Formula 500s, and wingless sprints.
What are speed cars, Jimmy?
That's
midgets?
as good as mine.
They're midgets.
Is that what the midgets are over
Yeah,
there?
I've learned from him.
Yep,
See,
yep.
I've paid attention sometimes. Premier Speedway also in action in Australia Saturday with the 360 LS Sprint Car Victorian title, featuring 360 LS Sprint Cars, super rods, and production sedans. Kubota High Limit Sprint Car Series in action at Central Arizona Raceway Friday and Saturday. And then next week on Tuesday, they'll be at Vado Speedway in New Mexico on April 1st. No fooling. That's real. Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series Buckeye. That was, then never mind. I have the Buckeye. That was last weekend. Somebody forgot to take that off there. World of Outlaw Late Model Series. Also last weekend. Why did I not update that? The World of Outlaw NASA Energy Drink Sprint Car Series, I know for sure, is in action this weekend. Sooner State Showdown, Lawton Speedway in Oklahoma Friday. And then as Kevin Thomas Jr. mentioned, he's headed to Wichita for the Wichita Sprint Car Showdown at 81 Speedway. That'll be on Saturday nights. NASCAR Crafts and Truck Series, the Boys and Girls Club. Boys and Girls Club of Blue Ridge 200.
Okay.
Okay, it's at Martinsville. all three top series for NASCAR at Martinsville this weekend. Truck Series race Friday night, 7:30 on FS1. Xfinity Series U.S. Marine Corps 250 at Martinsville. That's Saturday at 5 o'clock on the CW. And then the Cup Series Cookout 400 at Martinsville Sunday, the 30th at 3 p.m. on FS1. And that'll about do it. Your preview for next week's 50th anniversary Oakshade Raceway 50th anniversary trivia question is going to be. So
Here it is. Listen up, folks.
look for the post Monday or Tuesday on our Facebook page, and then you can enter in the comments of that. So this is just this is a bonus for you paying attention to the end of the show. You get extra time to work on this one. How many drivers have won 5 or more track championships? And then you get a bonus entry. You get an extra, your name in the thing, an extra time if you can name all of them. So the first question is, how many drivers have won 5 or more track championships in any class or across different classes? So if you won a late model, a super stock, and a sportsman track champions, that counts as 3.
Any class.
Any class cumulative. So how many drivers have won 5 or more? And then if you name them, that's your bonus.
Toughie.
It is.
Yeah.
That's why you get a little heads up here for that. And don't forget to be listening at the beginning of the show next week if you do enter to claim your prize, because Gabe and Jamie, they missed out.
Shame on them.
It is. That's what happens. Thanks to associate producer Dave Kemmer, contributors John Young, Matt Swander, Ron Burt, and Bob Stazak. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on X at Hammer Report. Follow us on YouTube. Listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Check us out at HammerdownRacingReport.com. Information on the Hammerdown Army as well on there. Get one of these stickers from DCR Graphics. Slap it on your car.
Or
it's $5.
one of those
or if
stickers.
you win one, yeah. Send us a picture on Facebook, or tag us, whatever. As long as we can see it, we'll add you to the Hammerdown Army, and we'll report on your finishes during the 2025 race season. More information at HammerdownRacingReport.com. Thanks to our sponsors, Oakshade Raceway, Ron Miller Race Cars, Freeze Frame Photos, Magic Moment Entertainment, Victory Fuel, Dittman Motorsports, Dominator Race Products, and DCR Graphics. Thanks to our guests this week, Kevin Thomas Jr., Kevin Thomas Sr. from Inferno Armor, and you wearing their shirt, Jimmy McCune, joining us here in the studio once again. How are your feet, by the way?
They're still feet.
They're still feet?
Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
good?
They work about as good as they have for the last 2 years now.
Okay.
Yeah. They're there.
They're okay.
Yeah. I can walk, I can jog, and yeah.
So there's no lasting effects
Get in a
from
race car.
I get
burn.
I get minimal movement. Like they stick up like that, but they only go flat.
Well, it's
I
not
can't
like
get-
you use them you don't use them to write or anything. So
When I'm in shoes, I don't notice nearly as much difference. It's socks and barefoot where you really feel a difference. But
You're probably not going to run any marathons.
never was, but yeah,
Yeah.
definitely not now.
There's your out.
Yep.
Well, next week on the show, we reached out to Wayne County once again. Last time we tried having him on, we had a little issue. They were all excited to come on, and then I haven't heard from him since.
Yeah.
So, and I still haven't heard from him. Trying to get him on. Did talk to Ryan Sutter. We're working on getting him on, talk about Montpelier Speedway, because both of those tracks kick off their season next weekend, as the menu, our weekend race menu, will start to grow from here on out, hopefully. And hopefully your weather forecast won't suck. So that'll do it. We'll see you next Thursday at 7 o'clock. That's a wrap on show number 372 of the Hammer Down Racing Report.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report, available on demand on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform.